My name is Lynette Barron. I'm here representing my children. I have 2 vaccine-injured children. I had no idea vaccine injury was even a possibility. I have 5 kids. Always followed the schedule. My 3 oldest ones that I didn't, never even imagined it could happen. When my 4-year-old was 15 months old, I took her to the doctor for thrush. I did not take her in for vaccinations that day. I took her in because she was sick. The doctors told me that my child had to get vaccinations that day. And I told them I did not think this was a great idea because she was in there for thrush, which I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, but I have, Google, I can read that means your immune system is down. But they kept telling me that if my child was able, would get something that she could have had that would have been prevented by those vaccines, then I would be in trouble. So that I needed to go ahead and do this that day. So my daughter got 6 vaccines that day, 2 were triples. From that day forward, we went through 26 days straight of fever. We spent 7 weeks in children in Birmingham. We had bone marrow aspiration and biopsies. We went through all kinds of, anyway, sorry, it's just really hard when you're a parent and you have to go through this. I give my daughter Neupogen injections now every 3 days of her life, and I have ever since this happened. 2 weeks prior to her injury, I cut my finger. 2 tiny little stitches is what I needed. I was 26 weeks pregnant, and I was told that I had to have a Tdap vaccine. I received that Tdap vaccine. Her 2-year-old sister has severe autism, global development delay, epilepsy, gut issues. The list goes on and on. I can't even tell you how many diagnoses this child has received, and she's not even 3 years old yet. I have 5 kids. My kids, my older kids didn't get a schedule like this, and we didn't see problems like this. The schedule keeps growing and keeps growing and keeps growing, and you're creating people like me. I don't want to have to know all this vaccine science. I don't want to have to read every book about this stuff, every medical journal. I'm a mother. Seriously, I have turned my entire life around in order to try to help other people avoid the same pain my family has to go through. And if y'all had all the proper science, like this sweet woman just said, from actual scientists other than just the people who are being paid to do these things, pharmaceutical companies aren't thinking about people like me. They're not thinking about those children who don't need to be vaccinated again. They're not thinking about, I'm sitting next to Paul Offit earlier, the same man who says if you're not going to vaccinate your children, they should be taken by the state. I will never vaccinate my children again, and the state will not come take my children because I will fight tooth and nail for my kids. This is not the way this should be. You shouldn't feel pressure to do something like this. You should have all the proper information. If y'all don't have all the science, then how will we have all the science? It just doesn't make any sense. I really hope that I will be at every meeting that comes. I will be right here. I really hope that things start getting better and the science actually starts improving, because the saddest part is I hear more data that makes more sense about what's going on everywhere else than I do in this room. So I just really hope that actually improves for people like us who we don't want to have to do this. We don't want to be in your space, in your face. I want to be at home with my children. I had to pay over $500 to make this trip today to come here from out of state just to talk to you guys, to let you know we don't want to be, forced to do these things, or we don't want to be told it's okay when they're sick. It's okay. We do this all the time. It's not going to do anything. And if you don't want to do it and something happens to them, then you're responsible. Who's responsible when something happens to my children? Nobody, because they deny them from vaccine injury compensation program. Nobody cares. They don't want to hear your story. They don't want to hear it. They told me, find my own expert, find my own lawyers. How do I find my own experts? Somebody please tell me that. It's just insane. The system is not set up to help people. It's damaging, and it needs to stop.
Thank you.